This is going to be a La Liga preview, the ultimate La Liga preview. I will be predicting where every single team in this La Liga 2018-2019 will be finishing in the table. So if you're excited and you want to have fun, watch this video. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, bringing you the best quality, non-biased footballing content here on YouTube. And on this channel we do a lot of predictions, previews, match discussions, match reactions, just like this one. So if you're excited, you are new, subscribe. So since this is going to be a long video, let's just get right into it. And the first team, which I think is going to be finished obviously bottom, is going to be Huesca. I think that Huesca hasn't done enough to get new players in the side. They got accessible players like Luisinho, which is I think 33 years old, a left back from Deportivo La Coruña. They won Ruben Semedo from Villarreal, which is a good player, but obviously had some legal problems. He went to prison. But they did good to finish second in 2017-2018 La Liga 1-3, but I just don't feel they have more than enough to be keeping them in the league. So sorry, Huesca. In a similar situation is going to be for me Real Valladolid. I think that this team, they got a lot of players. Yes, they have a bigger chance to come in through just because they have a bigger squad. But the players that they brought in, they're not exactly experienced in this league. Most of those players are actually from the second division, and I just don't see how that's going to help them in the long run to try and keep themselves in this first division. And now I'm going to go all the way from the 18th position to the 15th position, because I think all of those teams have a chance to really finish in this last relegation spot. In the case of Eibar, I think that they just lost too many important players. They lost Inui, they lost Dani Garcia to Bilbao, and these are players which are very important for a similar core for this Eibar team. They finished 8th last season, if I'm not wrong, or even... No, they didn't finish 8th, but they finished like lower than that, but still they did a very good campaign. And now those same players that helped them do that campaign, they're gone. And Eibar hasn't strengthened enough, and that's just gonna be for me a good reason that they could finish even last. So I'm gonna put them in the 18th position. To be honest, Rayo Vallecano could also be included in that list. The thing that with Rayo Vallecano is that I just feel they have strengthened in what they didn't have last season. They finished first in the Liga 1-3, which is a good thing. Means that they carry on that momentum, hoping that they could come here into this first division and actually get that stay. And I think they will. They got some players, including a Peruvian, Luis Advíncula, and I'm not being biased here, but they just brought players who are good enough in other positions, which could fit into that system from Rayo Vallecano. And Rayo Vallecano are a team which have always tried to keep their first division spot. And I just see that that little bit experience of being a club who has been longer prevailed in La Liga before could give them an edge in trying to stay up over teams like Eibar. Deportivo Alavés are in a very similar position to Eibar right now, and the thing with Deportivo Alavés is that I just feel they have fall from grace the similar way Eibar has done before, but the thing with them is that I feel they fall from grace is much lower than Eibar's. I think that they have lost some players here and there, but they've run still other also players. They lost, for instance, Munir, who was on loan in Barcelona, but they brought in more people who can help them scoring goals, and that for the Deportivo Alavés is going to be very important. Plus they got a very good system that's going to help them play, and at the long run that can help them a little bit more compete with those teams like a Sevilla, like a Real Sociedad, to try and nick some points here and there, because if you cannot compete against those teams, then you're mostly relegated, and the Deportivo Alavés, to be honest with you, they can really compete against those. In the case with Levante, I do not really know exactly how they're gonna finish. Last season it seems like they were destined for a relegation, but then they just went really good into a run of form, beat Barcelona obviously 5-4 at their own home turf, and to be honest with them, once you look at their squad, take a look at players like Bardi, players like Boateng, and now they brought even new players like a faster player from Ghana. One of you guys said to me on Instagram that I should watch out for. They have a decent squad, but the thing here with Leganés, well, not Leganés, sorry, with Levante, Deportivo Alavés, Rayo Vallecano, Eibar, are all of them that are in a similar quality level, and I do not really know exactly which one of them are going to be relegated. So between Levante and Eibar, I think any of those teams could get really relegated, but right now I do not know, and these are my feelings, you know, this is my gut feeling, and I'm going with Levante in 15th. And now with Leganés, really Leganés, they have actually got some very good incorporations into a side which, to be honest, I think Mauricio Pellegrino will be very good into trying and take this forward. They brought in Jonathan Silva from Sporting Lisbon, a good left back, decent for this La Liga. Ruben Perez, probably the best player at Granada right now. They brought people like Arnaiz. Arnaiz was sold to Leganés for 5 million, I think it was. And to be honest, they have a decent squad. Guido Carrillo, Diego Roland, good strikers here and there. But most importantly for me, I'm putting the manager as Mauricio Pellegrino, like the main reason why I think this Leganés side can really progress within its La Liga season. So hopefully they can have a good season. Let's see how it goes under Mauricio Pellegrino, but I think that they will do good in 14th. Just one place above Leganés, I'm gonna put on Getafe. I think that Getafe, they really overexceed last season. They had a very good defense that really helped them reach a place like 8th. And to be honest with you, I think that Getafe this season are not going to do as good, but they're still going to make an improvement on whether we would normally associate Getafe with a relegation spot. With that being said, I think that they're going to finish 13th. They got good players. Necessarily, their best players didn't leave the club, so that's a good thing. But I just feel that they're going to have a much calmer season than last season. So I'm going to put them in 13th. Moving up, we're going to go with Celta de Vigo in the 12th position. I think that with Celta de Vigo, we have something very interesting to really say. I think that with Celta de Vigo, they are under right now currently Unsue, the ex-coach or assistant coach for Luis Enrique, obviously. And with Unsue, I think that he has a very similar direct playing style that Luis Enrique really liked to do at Barcelona. And that kind of playing style is really difficult to adapt. Last season, I think that they necessarily didn't have the players, but this season it seems that they have learned a little bit more under Unsue, hopefully, and I think that that's going to help them in the long run. They brought in new players in like Sebastian Bufal from Southampton, and they still have and retain very good players like Yaguaspas as well as Lobotka, which is an incredible midfielder. So let's see how Celta de Vigo do. Obviously, Balaídos is also a very difficult and very harsh atmosphere, a very like intense atmosphere, and I think that's also gonna help them, and I think they're gonna be finishing in 12th. With Real Sociedad, I really think of a like Spurs transfer market. If you don't know, Tottenham didn't buy any single players in this transfer window. With Real Sociedad bought a few, but they didn't buy like any huge player that's gonna help them in the future, in the long run. They brought in Theo Hernandez from Real Madrid on a loan deal. I think that's gonna be help them immensely. They brought in Mikel Merino from Newcastle, a very good midfielder, just trying to fix little spots here and there, but they're actually doing a lot more business in what is the contract renewal. They renew, I think, Januzaj as well as Mikel Oyarzabal, a very good young talent. So I think that overall they're gonna have a better season than the last one. Hopefully they can improve under Asier Garitano, and let's really see what's gonna happen in the future. I think Real Sociedad is gonna take the 11th position, just a little bit short from 10th, but there are some teams which I think are gonna surprise us next coming up. And I think that I'm really going in a long shot here. I'm putting Espanyol at the 10th position. Between Espanyol, Real Sociedad, and Celta de Vigo, I think they can all change positions. But with Espanyol, the thing is that they're giving a lot of continuity to a lot of different players. They're bringing Sergi Darder from Olympique de Lyon, which is for me a very good midfielder with a very good, huge future ahead of him. He really looks like a typical Spanish midfielder, you know, who's good at drilling, passing, and all of that. Defending, not so good, but he's a lot of prolific, and he's very promising. And I think that just giving continuity to the same players that I had before, having the same rash kind of style of play that Rubí has implemented to this Espanyol side, I think it's going to help them to become a better team, a more stable team. The thing with Espanyol is that they're difficult to beat, and a team which is difficult to beat is always going to be harder than a team which can score, win the game, but they're going to still score a lot of goals, because that means you still have a possibility. With Espanyol, they're going to make it a difficult game for both Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico, and the same for people like Huesca, Real Valladolid, and stuff like that. So being this very hard team to beat, that can give them a lot of points, and that's why I think Espanyol could finish up in the 10th. And next up, we're going to have Girona. Girona is a side which it's kind of like here and there, because Girona, as we know, they're part of this like partnership with Manchester City. I think that they're the same owner, something like that. I'm not too sure. Same stakeholders perhaps, and they have a lot of basically help from having people from Manchester City, all the younger talents coming to the side, and it's kind of like a Barcelona B for the sense from Manchester City, and it really is a good team, to be honest with you. They got decent players, for instance, from Marc Muniesa, good center back. For instance, Johan Mujica, a very good left back I thought I saw in the World Cup. Sorry about that. He was intensely good, very he worked a lot, he had high work rates, he was very fast, he was strong, he did all of that very good. They still have young people, for instance, like Alex Garcia from Manchester City. They brought Patrick Roberts from Manchester City as well. They got Porto, a very good kind of like striker, but can also play as a center midfielder. It's insane what this guy can do. And Stuani as well, a lot of goals. Anthony Lozano, or we call him, he was from Barcelona B as well, but I don't remember how they call him in Barcelona B, the guy from Honduras. So this has a very good sense to it. I feel they have a very good partnership, a very good team, and that Eusebio, ex Real Sociedad, I think they're also going to do very good. Eusebio is much more of an attacking minded coach, and I think that's going to give them a little bit of extra flair for that attack. Obviously Manchin left to go to Sevilla, but in this sense, I think that Eusebio could do good with his squad. They're a very young talent, and the thing with young players is that you don't know where they're gonna break out. And Girona, they had a very good playing style, and I think they're gonna retain that. Another team from Catalonia this time around. Let's see who's gonna be the best one: Barcelona, Girona, or Espanyol. I think we all know which one is gonna finish top, isn't it? So next up, we're gonna go with Atletico Bilbao. And Atletico Bilbao, to be honest with you, are for me the team which is gonna miss out on the European competitions this season. The thing with Atletico Bilbao is that we all know their protocol and they need to follow only signing players from Países Vascos. But the thing is that with Atletico Bilbao, they actually strengthened the places where they needed to. They brought in the two fullbacks, Yuri Berchiche and also Ander Capa, which are very good fullbacks, both Spanish players. And I think they're gonna help them in the long run. Obviously, they need to like sign for the future, so it's kind of good. Berchiche is not that young. I think he's like 27, 28. But the thing is that they have done that. They have strengthened where they needed to. They also brought Dani Garcia for the center midfield. They brought players that are going to help them in that defensive side. And however, the problem that I think they're not going to score enough goals. They got people like Iñaki Williams, they're good. They got people like Cordoba, I think his name, a left winger. And then up top, they got obviously Aritz Arduriz, but he's just getting older with time. And that's a place where I think they needed to strengthen a little bit more. So for now, Atletico Bilbao for me are going to finish 8th because I can see them being very solid, hard to beat now. Now they got that back. But scoring their goals, I think they're still going to be able to, but it's going to be a little bit harder than last season and the years prior to that. In the 7th position, I'm going to go with Sevilla. With Sevilla, I really do not know exactly what Pablo Manchin wants to do. I think their squad is good enough to earn themselves a spot in the Europa League. I really do. But the problem here is that I just don't see where they can improve from last season. You see, for instance, Ibrahim Amado, which is a good CDM from France/Cameroon. But he's just not better than Ensonsi. You see Roque Mesa, which is also decent. You see people like Nolito getting older and they're trying to replace with Alex Vidal, stuff like that. But I just don't feel they are improving anything from last season. I don't really see what also Pablo Manchin wants to do because he's an attacking manager. He, for me, would need kind of like a fast attacking winger. And they got Vidal, but Vidal is not a guy which is going to desbordar. It's not a guy which is going to have a lot of dribbling ability to just cut inside and then do a little bit of a tricky something, you know, understand? For instance, Joaquin Correa for me would have been a much solid, like, keeping player. But they sold him. They sold him to Lazio. And it's just stuff like that. Weird business from Sevilla this time around. It's obviously different now that they don't have Monchi, but let's see how it goes because they got some interesting players. They got young players as well. They can become better in the future, but for now, I see Sevilla right now not really improving, and I'm gonna go with 7. And now for the 6th position, I'm gonna go with Villarreal. I think that Villarreal, they have strengthened up a lot. They have really done that, and now I feel that their squad is kind of like make ready even to challenge for the Champions League. I really do. I really think this Villarreal under Javier Calleja is a decent side. They're bringing people like Santi Cazorla, which obviously is, you can say it's old, he has problems with injury, but he's still a very good player. He still has that creative mentality in the field. They retain people like Pablo Fornals, which is absolutely insane because for me, that guy, I love him. Pablo Fornals for me is perfect. I would have liked him at Barcelona. I don't know what you think, but for me, Pablo Fornals is a world beater. Then you have people like Carl Toko Ekambi, which is also a player which they brought from Cameroon, not Cameroon, but playing from the French league, playing for Angers. And this is a very good striker. He scored around like 18 goals last season, good. They brought in Gerard Moreno from Espanyol, which is a huge buy. Gerard Moreno is a really good striker, to be honest. He was, I think that he was tied around the similar level with Iago Aspas for the most, like, the top Spanish goal scorer in La Liga, which is also very good. They got people like Daniel Raba, which is very young, very good prospect, 22 years old, very fast, very tricky. People like Miguel Layun, which is going to bring them a lot of versatility in the midfield as well as the fullback positions. So they have a good squad. They really have a good squad, Villarreal, and I think they have improved from last season, and that's the main reason why I'm putting them in front of a team like Sevilla. But I'm not going to put them even higher because I think there are some teams which are just much better right now. So now to almost finish this off, we're gonna move into two teams. We're gonna talk about the 4th and the 5th position. So who is going to get the last Europa League position and who is gonna be getting the first Champions League spot position? To be honest with you, I think that in the 5th position, we're gonna see Real Betis. I think that between Real Betis and Valencia are the two teams that are gonna fight for these two spots. I really think that this Real Betis side is absolutely insane. The signings they've made is on point. Quique Setién for me is a very good manager. Like, I hope this guy can I'm not gonna say that he wants to manage Barcelona someday, but hopefully he can. He's really good. He's really intelligent. He really likes attacking football, and they have strengthened particularly in one spot. We take a look at the goals that Real Betis really conceded last season, and they were like the same level of Malaga, and Malaga got the team relegated. However, they managed to stay because of the goal they scored as well. So with it being said, I think that they have strengthened in that defense. They have brought in people like William Carvalho, a player who was being pursued by the top European elite, and they got William Carvalho. They got people like Sidney from Deportivo La Coruña to help that defense. They brought Pau Lopez from Espanyol, very good young prospect goalkeeper, Spanish, 33 years old, insanely good. I really rate Pau Lopez. You got people like Sergio Canales from Real Sociedad, people like Takashi Inui for free, and then you just see a squad which is slowly improving, and they're looking even to bring people like João Mario. This is just gonna be a very good side, I think, that Real Betis. And however, there's one problem which I think is gonna hurt them in the future. We see teams like Everton and Milan last season, or the last season, where they brought a lot of players and it really didn't work. And I feel that in this one, we may see a similar thing. However, the risk, I think, is going to be minimal. It's going to be less than those teams like Milan and Everton, because right now I think that Quique Setién has gotten most of what he wants to deal with. The thing there with Everton and Milan is that they didn't have a manager which exactly knew what I wanted to do with these players. They just told, I want to have a midfielder, I want to have a striker, but he doesn't see and doesn't look for a project. Quique Setién is the opposite. Quique Setién is going to do something and he's going to have a plan B, and plan C for everything. And this guy, to be honest, he's going to take Real Betis higher than Sevilla. He could take them to the Champions League. I would really like to see Real Betis in the Champions League. They're a good side. Their attacking wise is perfect. And I just feel that this side has some potential. In the case with Valencia, however, I think that Valencia are a side which mostly retain the same players that they had before, and they're going to have a good season still, even nevertheless. I think that with people like Rodrigo scoring at the same level that they had before, they have improved, for instance, bringing people like, who they also brought? They brought people like Christian Piccini to replace their right back position. They got Condovia for a complete transfer. They brought in even Denis Cheryshev as a backup left winger. And Kevin Gamero as well, a decent, experienced striker in the Spanish league. I just think that this small acquisitions here and there is going to help them to secure that spot of the Champions League again. And I feel that after those breaks they took in the last 3 seasons, being the last bottom positions, they're still going to retain their new kind of like way of playing that they had nowadays. And more importantly, they're trying to bring in Gonzalo Guedes, and if they bring Gonzalo Guedes, I think they are mostly set for the Champions League position. Gonzalo Guedes for me is a very good player. I rate him very highly, and if they're bidding around 50 million for Gonzalo Guedes from PSG. So if that happens, I just feel the Valencia strike force is gonna be absolutely insane. So watch out for Valencia. They're a very difficult team always. They're a very difficult team, and this season is gonna be more than ever. And now we're moving into the Champions League spots. And in the 3rd position, I'm going to go with Real Madrid. The thing with Real Madrid is that they're a solid team. Now that Ronaldo is gone, I think they're a much more solid team than they were before. But they just lost a 50-goal a season kind of player. They lost their X factor. Now you take a look at the Real Madrid team and you are, for instance, Levante. And you feel, now, who's going to hurt us? Who's going to be Cristiano Ronaldo? There isn't much, to be honest. They haven't improved that much. The younger players they have, like Ceballos, Vallejo, Ludigin, or what else? They have Odriozola, up top Borja Mayoral. They are not really like, you don't feel that they're going to be influential in that Real Madrid side. I feel people like Asensio is going to get better, of course, because he's going to get more playing time. But it's just a little bit worrying to me if I was a Madridista. If I was from a Barcelona perspective and a Barcelona fan, I will tell you that you need to sign somebody, because you need to change the mentality in that camp. I think that some fans are trying to make the best out of Real Madrid, but in the inside, they know they want somebody else. I would do the same. Like, for instance, with Neymar left, I said, like, we need somebody else we need somebody to replace Neymar. And to be honest, we need it, and we got Coutinho, so that's a good thing. And I feel that they need that signing. They need a big signing right now, Real Madrid. And Thibaut Courtois, it's a weird signing because Keylor Navas for me is absolutely insane. I really think he's really good. And the thing is that he's going to create problems, Courtois, that they don't really need to have. You know, they're going to be saying, okay, Courtois may be playing all the league games and then Navas going to be playing the Champions League or the other way around. And that's just bad. That's just bad business. And it's going to create a lot of inconsistency in the side. We just saw how the defense were shambles against Atletico Madrid. And I feel that that's going to hurt Real Madrid. And they're not going to have enough to win La Liga. I feel they may try to win the Champions League or the Copa del Rey, but I don't feel that Real Madrid has that potential right now to really hurt any team deadly. You know, I think all teams are going to think that they're going to have a chance against Real Madrid because the reality is that they have. And now to the first and second. Who is going to win La Liga and who is going to come in second? Those for me are going to be Atletico Madrid in second and Barcelona in first. Like, obviously, I may think that Barcelona are going to win the Liga. Hopefully, we win this season as well. But I just think that compared between both Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, our squad, our rotational play with Atletico Madrid, I think even Atletico Madrid has a better rotational or a better bench than us. I really do think that. But the thing with Barcelona is just that our first team is much better than them. And plus, we are kings of Spain, to be honest. In the last, 10 years, we've won La Liga like 6-7 times. So that's a good thing, you understand? And I think that Barcelona this season, they are thinking about what I said in that expectations video, that we are not only going to try and win La Liga, but win the Champions League. We're trying to win La Liga and the Champions League and the Copa del Rey. I think that we're going to go all in within, because we saw how we can win all three. We can win all three. We're the only team who has got 2 trebles. And let's make it 3 this year. Let's really try to make it 3. I think it could happen. Just we need to stay strong, and that's something that I think Barcelona can do. You know, I think Barcelona, if we have something, it's a strong mentality, and not too many times we have been getting overcome by opposition. So I think this Barcelona side is kind of special. In the case of Atletico Madrid, I feel that their squad is absolutely insane. I think Atletico Madrid, they have one of their best squads in the last also 10 years. They really look amazing. They have Diego Costa on a prime form. They got Griezmann as well. They retain him, which is one of the biggest signings of the transfer window. They got people like Gelson Martins to revolutionize that attack. Lemar also really good. And I think they're going to be challenging. They're going to be challenging for the league as well. But I think they will also be challenging for the Champions League. And in that sense, I think that may hurt them because they haven't really tried to battle it out for both times. They really get knocked out first in La Liga and then go in the Champions League, or the other way around. Last time around, it was they got knocked out in the Champions League and they decided to pursue the Europa League to the final. So it's stuff like that. Now Atletico Madrid has the time and the money and the squad to go for all 3 competitions. So let's see exactly what they do. But I think they're going to finish in second just because of those direct matches. If Barcelona manages to win against Atletico Madrid and also the other match against Atletico Madrid, and we don't lose stupid points, I think Barcelona have it in the bag. So we need to be very careful with Atletico Madrid side because they're certainly going to be a little bit tougher than last season's. But I still think that Barcelona are going to retain this La Liga, and hopefully we can come home with not only La Liga, but the Champions League and the Copa del Rey as well. So let's see what's going on, guys. Leave me your predictions in the comment box down below. Tell me your La Liga predictions. Try to go from the 20th to the 1st, and if not, just tell me which teams you think are going to get in the Champions League, which teams do you think are going to get relegated, stuff like that, if you don't want to write the whole 20 teams. But if you want to, I'm going to read them, so that's very fun. I want to see what you think about this. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.